speaking of amazing women,
Uh-oh.
next
Ah!
we have Kenna. Now, this lady is truly a superstar. She's a wicked smart businesswoman. She's like a super mom. She like runs her shop and does amazing things. She's the president of the United States of America. Whoa, hold up. No,
Yeah!
no, wait a minute. I messed that up. President of Kansas Auto Body Association. This girl is amazing, and we're truly honored to have you with us. Welcome, Kenna.
Awesome,
Kenna,
thanks. If you could
nice
just
to see
keep,
you.
if you could just keep going,
Yeah, I'll keep going. Okay,
this is
we'll
really
record
fun.
this,
Yeah,
and then you'll just play it on a loop. Everybody who
yeah,
comes in the shop can
yeah,
hear it, and
yeah.
it's perfect.
This is
Yeah,
being recorded, so I can
that's
just
it. You
put
can
that
go
part.
back and
Yeah,
you can make it your ringtone if you want to. That'd be
yeah.
it's
Yeah, and
perfect.
show it to your husband Chris over and over and
Over and
over.
over. Hey, Chris,
He
just in
knows,
case you
he knows.
forget.
Yeah,
So,
but well,
uh,
thank you for having me, letting me be a part of this. Dave knows that Positivity Summit Day is probably one of my favorite days of the year, like top 5. I love it.
love it. Well,
I love getting on here. Those of you that have your cameras on, thank you. The ones that don't, shame on you, turn them on. But seeing all the smiles, it just like
Yeah.
makes my whole day. So I'm excited.
it is
Wow.
amazing. I mean, take a look at the community that's here. We've got over 200 people on here. We got a bunch of people on YouTube and all the other channels out there that are happening right now, Facebook and so on and so forth. So, what a great community! Thank you everybody for taking the time to be here. Kenna, let's get into it. I want to talk about for the crowd here. We're trying to bring a lot of positivity, but one of the things that often drives that positivity is the challenges. Tell us about some of the challenges that you guys have faced and what came of those and what turned those into opportunities for you. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Sure. My husband and I opened a shop. It's been 9 years. That was in 15, so this will be year 9 for us. He was a technician, and I had a business degree with a background in corporate accounting. So he came home one day. He was kind of fed up with the way things were going at the shop he was working at, and he's like, there's got to be a better way. I'm tired of hacking these cars together, and I want to do better quality work, and I want to serve the customers better. And he said, I want to start my own shop. And, he's more of a risk taker than I am. So I sat back and was like, are you sure about this? And he said, yeah, let's do it. So he went all in. 3 months later, I quit my gig in corporate accounting and went all in with him. And so I think the challenge for us, I say that to preface, the challenge was that, we didn't have a mom and dad running a shop that passed it on to us. We didn't grow up in the industry at all. He ended up getting into it as a technician, and then I just got into it because he pulled me in at first. But what Kyle was saying earlier really spoke to me, and that's been on my mind is I think there's a challenge there of being really young and inexperienced and kind of not knowing what you don't know, right? It's kind of scary. But in some ways, I think maybe that was our biggest opportunity because we kind of went in really open-minded. We got hooked up with some industry leaders like Dave and Ryan really early on. And we were not too proud to ask questions. So we asked all the questions. We were very open-minded. We didn't have any like bad habits to break, if that makes sense. So I think that's probably the biggest challenge, but we've turned that into a superpower.
You
I love it.
have
You've
turned
always
it
come
into a
across as
superpower.
right. Totally. Totally.
Yeah. So, most shop owners would say, I don't have enough time in the to get everything done in the day. And here you are, right? Owning a shop, raising a family, and you've really stepped up and helped your Kansas Auto Body Association. I'm so proud of you for doing that. That's very meaningful. How do you manage to balance all these things?
Well, when I figure it
What's your
out,
secret?
you can bring me back next year. No, I don't really know. I think I was thinking about this because Ryan kind of gave me he kind of gave me a heads up that you'd ask me this question. I was really thinking about this, and a lot of days I feel like a clown trying to keep all the balls in the air, and just thankful that they're not chainsaws, I guess. But I think like blocking out the distraction has helped me a lot because there is so much noise out there, right? Like right now I must have, I have 12 unopened text messages on my phone. I've got social media messages with Facebook and likes and comments, and you've got emails coming in. I've got, 4 different inboxes to manage. And I think if you really know me at all, you've probably been frustrated at me for a lack of response at times. But sometimes I really have to cut all of that out and talk, really think through what is important today, what needs to happen today to move me forward for my big picture goals. So sometimes that means, putting your phone on silence and putting it in your desk drawer or whatever.
I love
So,
that. I
and,
love
and
that.
then go ahead. Sorry, Dave.
No, I was just gonna say that's great advice. That's great advice.
I would say it's harder to do.
No, we're in a world of massive distraction, and most people don't know how to shut it off, or they don't even try.
Mhm.
Right? The like your email, we call that the inbox for everybody else's agenda.
Mhm.
Right? You've got to work on your agenda and what's important to you and your vision. I love that. What else do you got? What other advice do you have?
If you want to talk like literal, I do a lot of time blocking, and I don't know, I'm sure you all can Google it if you've not heard of it, but basically you just look at your schedule and say, okay, I've got 7 hours today, right? And maybe that aren't in meetings, maybe you only have 2 hours that aren't in meetings or whatever, but I have these hours, and so from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., this is what I'm going to work on. And that's when you put your phone in the drawer and you be very intentional with your time. And of course, you have to leave time for the non-work related things, right? Like your meals and emails and things that are just busy work, I guess. But I do a lot of time blocking, and I've tried a lot of the things. I've tried the eat the frog method, and there's all these things. I've tried them all probably. And I think it depends on your personality type too, right? Like what
I
works
do
for you.
too. I think you kind of find your own rhythm and your own system to make the most out
Hold
of
up.
your days.
Hold up. I got to back this up. Did I hear you say eating the frog method? Like, I haven't heard of this. I'm going to have to go Google that.
It's a
Is that
book.
what you said?
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the idea is you tackle the hardest task of your day first.
Yes.
Makes a lot of sense because at the beginning of the day, you don't have decision fatigue and you have the most
Right.
energy still. Yeah. So
Love it. All
but
right.
that didn't work for me. I need easy wins to build up to the big
Yeah.
thing.
Get the momentum, and then you can knock over the big domino kind of thing.
Yeah, we go back to
I think
personality.
it's different for each, isn't it? I love it. So, I mean, truly inspirational what you're doing. I'm a big fan. And can you tell us a little bit? Like, one of the things we always look at is obviously you came into the industry with none of these preconceived notions. You've done amazing things already. But now that you've gotten a little better understanding, you've been in it this 9 years now. What are some of the things, or if you had a magic wand and you could maybe, change one thing about the collision industry, what would that be?
Well, Mel talked a lot about culture and just changing kind of the stereotypical body shop and what those jobs look like. I think as an industry, and I think we're moving in that direction. But I think as an industry, we really need to change the culture in general. Like we need to create better work environments for all of our employees. And I think that would help solve a lot of our issues with recruiting and just in general, a lot of issues. But um, if I had to pick, one thing, and Chris and I were just discussing this last night, I think we need more restrictions. I think we need more licensing. I think, you have to have a license to drive a truck, to sell real estate, to cut hair. Why are we working on these sophisticated cars and anybody can just buy an airbag? And it's crazy to me that we're working on these things. And I think I really think that it would send a message to the consumers as well as the insurance companies that this is serious business and you should be invested in where you take your car to get repairs. We just had an example yesterday, and this is going to show some vulnerability. I'm not too proud to share it, but we had a customer who just yesterday called in and canceled their appointment, and they said they're going to take it to another shop in our area because they were going to waive their deductible. So, we had this big talk in our office about this. It's like, well, obviously we could do better, getting them to buy into what we do and why obviously that's a lost opportunity on our end. What can we do better? But still, I think it's just so frustrating to me that these consumers, they're just like, they are driven by price point more than safety. And so I think some sort of licensing or restriction on parts or something, I don't know. I think maybe that's coming with the OEs getting more involved. It'll be interesting, but that's scary for business owners. Like you don't want the government involved in your business, like less is more on that front. But I really think for the consumers, I think it would make a better and a safer process for them.
It's super interesting perspective. We actually have had this in Canada for years. Like you have to be a red sealed, you have to go and get educated, and you have to be licensed to work on vehicles.
Oh,
It was
Canadians are always better.
I just wanted to shout out to all us Canadians. Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. But it's yeah, I mean, it was amazing to me, Ken, that I had the exact same perspective when we started looking at the U.S. market. I was literally shocked. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. you need a license to wire up a home. How can you jump in a vehicle that also has wirings and goes 100 miles an hour, right? And you don't need a license to do that. So it's definitely a disparity. And we have a very exciting guy coming up next that can probably speak to that. But I love where your brain's at. I love that you had that vulnerability to share with us. So very, very cool.
Yeah, I got one final question for you. You have come so far so fast since I've met you. It's really been fun to watch you grow personally and you're in your Chris's business. So what are you fired up about next? What excites you about the future? Where do you see yourself going with this thing?
I don't know if I can pick just one thing. I think the industry, I'm so excited to see there's so many things going on. And I think maybe some people would choose to maybe be intimidated or scared or challenged by these things. The technician shortage, AI, right? We have more involvement from OEMs. I'm excited. I think there's about to be like a big shakeup. I think the industry is changing in a way. Like Kyle said this earlier, there's not been any major changes in the industry for so long. And I think there's some fresh people coming into the industry. And I think the vehicles have changed so dramatically. So I don't know if I can pick just one thing. I'm just excited to see where it goes. I think the associations are waking up and people are
Yes.
getting involved in the state associations and SCRS, which we'll hear from Aaron next, I think. But yeah, I don't know. I think the industry's changing and I'm just excited to be a part of it. I'm just here for the ride.
So amazing to have you. Thank you for joining us. You're a true inspiration to all of us.
Yeah, you got some true fans in the chat talking about you, and Kenna, we're all super proud of how far you've come, and I can't wait to see what's next for you and your family. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thanks again, Kenna. Appreciate it.